Everyone, in this video we're going to look at this 2022 Chevrolet Equinox. The Equinox is a compact SUV. It's been on sale now over 3 generations. The original Equinox actually replaced the old Chevrolet Tracker. Who remembers the Chevy Tracker? This is the 3rd generation Equinox. It's been on sale since the 2018 model year, and it gets a facelift for 2022. That facelift was originally planned for the 2021 model year, but it ended up being pushed back to 2022. It doesn't change too much. Updated styling front and rear. And then this is a new RS trim that was added for 2022. Again, though, not a whole lot of substance behind the RS trim. Anyway, though, let's do a tour of the 2022 Equinox here. So here it is. The Equinox is pretty inoffensive all around, and that's the goal. As I said, this is a new for 2022 RS trim level, and then the appearance, the styling up here is also new for 2022. Gray wheels on this one. They're not quite black. They are 19-inch wheels. This is a gray exterior. The RS stuff includes black where there would normally be chrome. So the Equinox is black, and then the trim around the greenhouse is black. Around back here, you can see some other subtle changes. Badging goes Equinox. There's the Chevrolet emblem that is black and textured. And then this is an all-wheel drive RS model. Power tailgate on this one in particular. As for stuff back here, you've got cargo volume on par with what you'd expect from a compact SUV. What do we have over here? You can put the seats down via these paddles, although you can put one of these seats down via one of these paddles, but apparently something has gone awry there. Elsewhere, you've got carpeted, a little bit of extra storage under here. Not much else. Here's a tie down point. So you got 2 tie down points, and then this is like for a net that would hang across back here that you could probably put stuff in. And then looks like there are provisions for a rollout cargo cover, but my test vehicle here doesn't have that. From what I gather, they don't like to give these vehicles out with bits that aren't bolted down because maybe they're likely to get lost. Here's the key. Pretty unassuming key. So these aren't like physical or traditional buttons. It's just like a rubber piece over a bunch of what I assume are buttons underneath. But you got lock, unlock, remote start, and then power tailgate on this RS trim. You use a button for the passive keyless entry, which I don't love that. I'd rather it be blended in, but just one button for lock and unlock because the key is in my pocket. Here's the window sticker. So this is a 2022 Equinox RS all-wheel drive. That exterior color is iron gray metallic. The interior is jet black. The engine is a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It makes 170 horsepower and 203 pounds-feet of torque, and that's mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. I was surprised to find a 6-speed in this vehicle when most of the competitors are using, anything from an 8 to a 10-speed. Anyway, though, as equipped, this one's $36,000, which is kind of steep. It does have a few options. So the base RS costs $31,700, and then it has the RS leather package, the infotainment package, and then the advanced safety package, and those all combined to bring the price to $36,020 when you factor in a $1,195 destination fee. Fuel economy is rated by the EPA at 25 city, 30 highway, and 27 combined. Powertrain is probably the main drawback here. Otherwise, the vehicle's it's fine, but the powertrain is underwhelming. We'll leave it at that. So in this almost fully loaded $36,000 Equinox RS. You get some comfort features, full suite of active safety tech, heated seats. It has a heated steering wheel. It's pretty cold outside. It's 35, so we'll turn on the heated steering wheel. Here you've got controls for the active cruise control. Over here you've got media controls. Actually, on the back of the steering wheel are your media controls. Right here is actually controls for the gauge cluster screen there, and you've got all kinds of different readouts. Pretty standard. You'll find that elsewhere on other vehicles. I generally take issue with the plastics used in General Motors products, but honestly, this really isn't that bad. Many GM vehicles use plastic that is greasy, and you touch it, and there's a smell that comes off of it, but yeah, there's no smell to this plastic. It's not greasy. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that has to do with where these parts are made, the factory where the Equinox is made relative to other GM products I've reviewed, but this plastic is completely fine, and that's a good thing, because the plastic in some other GM vehicles is not pleasant, does not make a good impression. Over here you've got some cushioning. So cushioning, it's like a fabric, it's like a kind of a plasticky, it's like a plastic that feels like fabric. Only one touch up and down for the driver's window. Although the passenger window and the other windows are one touch down, they're just not one touch up, which seems like they could have added one touch up at not much more cost to them, but whatever. Dashboard, get some hard plastics here. This isn't too bad. It's hard, but it's not too bad. Your vents are here, 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 and here. The infotainment screen is relatively high resolution. Actually, the resolution's really good. The size of the screen's probably a little bit small by modern standards, but overall, the infotainment experience in this vehicle and in most GM products is a pleasant one. So that's good. Here's the backup camera. Pretty high resolution. You get a 360-degree top-down view on this particular Equinox, and you get a bunch of different views. It's funny that they include what would be known as a trailer towing view. That's a top-down view of the rear, views down the sides, a view top-down, maybe a little bit zoomed out from the rear. There's a top-down view off the front, and then there's your traditional backup view, so that's pretty nice. Down here, button for your parking sensors, and then this turns off and on all-wheel drive. Kind of a weird thing that GM does that I don't like. I'm pretty sure they do this to game the EPA fuel economy test, but in this vehicle, you can turn all-wheel drive off and on. What's nice is that when you turn all-wheel drive on, then turn the car off, come back, turn it back on, all-wheel drive will stay on, so it defaults to whatever you had it on when you got out of the vehicle. But that can work against you in the opposite situation where all-wheel drive is off. It's off now, and say the driver isn't aware that it's off, or isn't aware that you have to turn it on when you want it to be on. And I can see a situation where someone's driving around in inclement, snowy weather, thinking that they have all-wheel drive, and in reality the vehicle's in front-wheel drive mode, just because most people aren't familiar with this, because no other vehicles use this setup. So I don't like that, but whatever. Up here you've got USB-C, USB-A, an aux port, and then a 12-volt outlet. Electronic parking brake here. You'll notice that the manual shift functionality on the shifter is actually on the shift lever itself, so up, down. It's another GM thing that feels like it's from kind of a forgotten time. Cup holders, little storage, and then here's your center console box. Again, these center console boxes often feel really cheap, and I would have expected this one to feel cheap, but it really doesn't. It's fine. This turns on the light, so when the lid's closed, it depresses that plunger, and the light knows to turn off. Here's a little tray that, again, it's not like hyper high quality plastic, but it's not bad. It's not bad plastic either. So yeah, that's good. And then two more USB-A ports right there, kind of hidden at the front of the center console box. No sunroof on this $36,000 Equinox. Kind of would have expected to find one, but nope. And then overhead, here's your visors. Let's see. Yep, that is the correct functionality. We like to see that. Sunglass holder right there, and then there's your lights. cool tone LEDs, and yeah, let's check out the back seat. Okay, plenty of room back here. The seat's kind of reclined, which is nice. If you want the seats to be reclined, and if you don't want them to be reclined, you can just put them up to a normal degree of incline. But in that normal position, I'm about 5'10", 5'11". I have really long legs, so that's where I have the seat when I'm driving. And you can see, sitting behind myself, I've got almost a full hand length, so that's good. Plenty of space back here. Oh, and then the floor is flat. That's also nice. With a lot of vehicles, you'll see a hump right here, which contributes to feelings of claustrophobia for the backseat passengers, but that's not the case at all with the Equinox here. And I just noticed the window's open because snow's coming in. Elsewhere, there's a light, grab handle, one touch down again, but not one touch up. Kind of seems like an oversight. And then 2 USB-A ports back here, and then buried way down here, what do we have? A 3-prong, what is that? 120 volt, 150 watt home style power outlet. I don't know if you can see that, but just trust me, it's there. And then cup holders, armrest, and then I don't know if I called this out, but the RS models have red stitching and then red piping on the seat bottom there. Oh, and then 2 seat back pockets. A lot of these, this level, oftentimes you'll see a vehicle with just 1 seat back pocket and nothing on the driver's seat here, but the Equinox has 2. Jeez. Okay, driving this 2022 Chevrolet Equinox RS. This vehicle is pretty much inoffensive. Pretty well appointed. Granted, it's $36,000, so a lot of the features that it has you expect at this price point. And honestly, there's no sunroof. Kind of expect a sunroof at this price point, so maybe that's a strike against it. Engine's fine, as you'll find out in a moment here. Engine's a little bit less than fine, as you'll find out in a moment. So we are in front-wheel drive mode. There's 50. A little bit of wheel slippage in front-wheel drive mode, but nothing too crazy. So it's not fast. 107 horsepower, 203 pounds-feet, 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 6-speed automatic. You're definitely not buying this car for the powertrain, but then again, most people shopping in this segment probably don't care about powertrain, and yeah, to a degree, why should you? It's a compact crossover. I would say this is probably at the lower bound of what's acceptable in a vehicle like this, but it's still acceptable. Fuel economy is nothing great. 25 city, 30 highway, 27 combined. On that note, there is going to be an electric Equinox coming up in the next couple of years. GM put out images of it. It looks pretty cool. Let's go into all-wheel drive mode here. Doesn't really do anything that you'd notice, at least on a dry or even wet asphalt. Took that speed bump at about 23 miles per hour. That was fine. Let's go a little faster over this one. Let's go 30. I was at about 32. Felt really good, but then again, I didn't really expect otherwise. Let's go over this big one at 32. That was fine. What you heard is the rear cargo floor, like the board that covers the stuff underneath the rear cargo floor, just kind of bouncing up. But again, that's completely to be expected. Leather steering wheel feels nice. Handling is fine. Again, you're probably not worrying about handling if you're shopping for a compact crossover, but it's fine. Nothing notably bad in the Equinox here. Backup camera, like I said, is really high resolution. One of the best backup cameras I've come across. So there is your look at the facelifted 2022 Chevrolet Equinox in RS form. GM has kind of simplified things with the Equinox in recent years. You used to be able to get this with a more powerful engine that made like 250 horsepower. Not anymore. There's just one engine. It's just this kind of meh 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. There are four trims now. The RS here is one from the top, so it's like 3 out of 4. The sticker price of $36,000 feels a little bit steep. $36K for something like a RAV4, something like a CRV would be reasonable, but a General Motors product. To me, this vehicle is completely fine, but the selling point here is should still be cost, I feel. And at $36K, that's not really the case with the Equinox. Now, in the before times, at least, you would have gotten pretty good, probably corporate and dealer financial incentives that would bring that $36,000 figure down by a few $1,000s. Right now, though, at best you're probably going to do is paying MSRP, given that so many competitors are selling for above MSRP. So that's the Equinox here. Honestly, I didn't expect this vehicle to be as fine as it is. But that's really what it is. It's fine. It's, you know, if you're shopping in this segment, I'd still probably test drive a RAV4, which I think is still the segment leader. I'd also test drive a Honda CRV, which still has a lot of strong points, even though it's due for a redesign. You also probably want to look at something like the Ford Escape, even the Ford Bronco Sport. And then there are other vehicles. Mazda CX-5 is another really nice one. There are other vehicles that you'll want to test drive and experience if you're shopping in this segment. But, you know, if you get an Equinox at sticker, or maybe even a little bit below sticker, if that ever becomes a thing again, then, yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a bad buy. So that's the 2022 Equinox. I'm pleasantly surprised. Thanks for watching.